Go ahead.
Ria?
Yeah,
Sen-
you got the right.
Hello, ma'am, and welcome to eCell. This is the Entrepreneurship Cell, and we have Entreview, which is we're interviewing entrepreneurs from different sectors from KC College, and we're very pleased to have you here. Thank you so much for joining. We have Meg, we have a ma'am from Dharavi.com, Megha Gupta, and over to Ria.
Okay. Good evening, ma'am. My name is Riya Gevanshi and I'm co-head of TC. And we have with us is Aditi Prasad. You can go ahead, Aditi.
Good evening, ma'am. I'm Aditi Prasad, and I'm the content writer.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi.
I'm Tanisha Mithani. I'm the HOD of Social Media Department for eCell. Ma'am, we have researched a lot about you, but could you please tell us something that we don't know of or that we're unaware of? We would love to know more.
Um, what do you, I mean, like you said, you've already researched, so what should I tell you now? Um, so do you
Ma'am,
want to know more about me or the company?
yes,
Ma'am,
ma'am. You, of course, anything we would love to hear anything that you would like to share with us. Something behind the scenes of how you came about with the company or your journey throughout. We would love to know more.
So, Dharavi Market is not just a career for me. It's not just a company for me. It's also my life purpose of being, of doing something which is meaningful and impactful. So it happened in the form of Dharavi Market. It's not like I was a designer or I was a e-com, I was a IT person or anything of that. So what I've studied is BMM from KC, right? So I've studied journalism. And so the reasons to be a journalist was always to do something which was impactful. I didn't know that this is how eventually, after 7 years of working, this would pan out. Like Dharavi was a project which I was doing research on, and that's when I got this idea. And this was supposed to be a side business. I mean, it was just something which I just wanted to do it on the side for the karigars, not expect anything in return. But little did I know that it would change my life so drastically. It was like I'm more of an accidental entrepreneur than a planned business person, right? So yeah, that's what it is. I was never so people think of, okay, I want to think of a business idea and how do I go about it and all of that. For me, it was not like that. I was very happy in my jobs. I was doing, like, I loved my jobs and I was doing what I wanted to do. I've studied urban planning from University of Sheffield. So I was working with the top companies in Bombay, and I had a good pay and it was all good. And this was supposed to be done on the side, but this became everything. Today, this is my identity and I'm known for it today. And uh, it couldn't have gotten better. Like I can't imagine myself doing anything else now.
That's
sure, ma'am.
amazing to hear, ma'am.
Tanisha can go ahead with the second question.
Sure. Ma'am, what made you switch from being a reporter to a research planner?
It was because as a journalist, what you end up doing is reporting on problems, right? I mean, most of the stories back in 2006, 2007, like the editors always looked out for controversies. Only if it was something controversial, it would make it to the news. Any good positive story, it was like once in a while, maybe they'll print something, uh, sort of a thing. But on a daily basis, you are constantly looking for some drama happening around. So eventually it kind of got to me as well on a daily basis to look for 10, 12 stories, negative stories, then pitch that to your editor, and then she would pick one or two out of that. So always constantly looking for something negative was not something which I wanted to do for the rest of my life because it didn't make me feel good also. And the other reason was that because as a journalist, you just keep reporting on stories, right? You're not actually working on the solution because every day you have to move on to the next one. Today you reported on something, then tomorrow, so today you could report on A, and then tomorrow you will have to report on Z, and both have no connection with each other. And then every day you keep on moving on to something which is totally unrelated. So constantly you're looking for something negative and constantly you're jumping from one thing to another without actually focusing on one issue. So I realized that I was not solving any problem, which I always wanted. Like the reason I became a journalist was to help in sort of nation building, and like that was always the intention. So I realized that this is not going anywhere. And plus, it was making me a negative person. So I just wanted to do something which is more solution oriented. And then I realized that Bombay back in 2006-7 was largely, most of the issues were related to infrastructure, illegal buildings or bad roads, or no open spaces or things like that. So I just realized that, okay, let me specialize in this particular field. And then later on, I'll see what, if I want to be a journalist again, I can make this my beat, or I can work with city researchers and planners and contribute in a much more positive way, where you actually work on creating solutions than just reporting. So that was the idea. And obviously I was young, I was just graduate. It was like I was just 22 when I was reporting for Midday. So I said, okay, after that, let me, and I always wanted to do my master's. I always wanted to live outside of Bombay. So I said, so this is a good time to do all of that. So everything, so that's why I went abroad to study. I did a master's course in urban planning. So I got to do all of that also. And after I came back, I had an option. I had an offer from NDTV to work on their property related shows. And then I had an offer from an architect activist who would work on cities planning and cities open spaces and stuff. So I decided to work with the architect activist so that I could contribute more than just report. That was the
That,
idea. Yeah.
that's amazing, ma'am.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am, that is so inspiring to all of us. The next question we have for you is, most of your works and plans are focused on residential or slum problems. So why do you think this is a matter of great concern, and how can this issue be related to your work of Dhara?
Then most of the research is related to slums. So so like I said, in Bombay, what are your major issues, right? Affordable housing, open spaces, uh, equality. These are your major issues. And so when you work with researchers and planners in Bombay, that's what you focus on largely, as to how to create more affordable housing, how to make the city more uh, equal for people from all strata of society. Like there were people, like even today we have around 60% of our population living in slums, which is very sad because 60%, like more than half of your population till today lives in slums.
Yes, ma'am, totally. We agree with you. Tanisha?
To
Yeah.
point a
Also,
lot.
ma'am.
Also,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah. Also, like like if you're not from a well-to-do family, where would you go? Like besides the promenades, like if you go into a mall, like it's something which you have to end up spending money, right? Then we didn't have enough parks and open spaces which were developed well for citizens. And there was at that point of time, even the good parks had an entry fee of 5-10 rupees or whatever. So these were issues which, like, if you are a laborer in the city, you really have no place to go. Like, you don't have a decent house and you don't have an open space to just refresh your mind. So these were issues which we were working on a lot. While I mean, these are still issues, major issues for Bombay, but hopefully, I'm talking about 10 years ago, where people didn't even talk about these issues. Today at least we're talking about it. And I mean, I'm just seeing there's some work being done by Mr. Aditya Thackeray under flyovers and stuff, which is phenomenal. These were ideas which we wanted to execute in 2007-8.
Correct, ma'am. Definitely, I agree with you. Also, ma'am, how is the idea of Wayshower's Foundation instilled in your mind? Maybe get a brief about that as well. We'd love to know.
So yeah, so that was basically, like I said, I never wanted to start a bags business as such. That was never the intention. The reason for starting the Dharavi market was to give them better access to the markets, because of the bad infrastructure that exists in Dharavi. Nobody's going to go shopping over there directly to. with the, to the Karigars workshop. So being the idea to bring it online was just to give them a market access, direct market access across the world. But then I realized once I got into the business that people, there are trust issues and quality issues, because of course every Karigar is different. So we had, and also we wanted to export a lot, but because of some very minor little issues, no, the bag wouldn't be called an export quality bag. It could just be that some threads are still left over to cut, or the zipper used is not of the best quality, or it's rusted, or things like that. So these was very small issues which could be ironed out. So I realized we need to give them the training and we need to develop a skill set so that we can create an export quality product. Like for the domestic market, these were okay, you could still do with it. But for an international market, this is not what we should send out. So to develop a skills training course, we can't do it from a company, because then the whole profit and loss sheet goes haywire. Because if you're spending money on training, I can't add the training cost to the product cost, because then the product cost becomes too high. So this had to be a different route. So it's best to have CSR funds coming for the training purpose. And then you train people in the NGO, you create good quality products, and of course your product quality will improve, so you can improve your exports.
Correct,
Sure,
ma'am.
ma'am.
That's
So a
amazing.
question based on that, looking forward to it. So how would the Wayfarer Foundation bring development to the locals, and how is it concerned to Dharavi market after all?
So it's a sister concern. I am the director at Wayshower Foundation also. Um,
So, ma'am,
and
how is it connected to Dharavi Market? Like, is there a link that, as you said about your books, but apart from that, is there any connection that is deriving from Dharavi Market?
it is, it's completely. So we only train Karigars from Dharavi, and the whole idea of the foundation is to have skilled craftsmen. And once you have skilled craftsmen, we certify them under Wayshower's Foundation. And once you have skilled craftsmen who can create export quality products, then those Karigars are then told to create products which are then sold on the Arabi market. Or I mean, even if it's not sold on the Arabi market, we have a lot of bulk orders for various brands, which of course we don't sell on the website because that's B2B. So we make for different brands and export it.
Correct. Got it, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah.
Also, what were the struggles that you faced in your journey? In as I know that you were a student and you started off as like literally our age, so we'd love to
Yes,
know and relate to your journey as well.
because
No,
right now we're looking forward to you a lot. As being a young girl, you're someone we want to grow up as. So we want
Yes.
to know how was your journey.
so I am still struggling. I wouldn't say I'm not struggling. I started Dharavi market when I was 29. So you guys are still younger. Um, like, because I worked for 7 years as
Yeah.
an urban planner and a journalist before I started Dharavi market. Um, so challenges are a lot, like I said, because I had not planned it as a business. I was just, this was just something to be done on the side, or
Right.
just get it. I just basically wanted to get this idea out of my system because it was kind of haunting me, like do something, do this. It was like that. So I just wanted to get it out of my system. So that's the reason I had started this. So because it wasn't planned, there was no funds. So financially, it was like,
Yes.
now I have
Hard.
reached the salary which I had earned, which I used to earn at the age of 29 with the top architects and planners. That's the income level I've reached now after 6 7 years. So it was a massive drop for me financially. It's been it's been a journey of too much stress, anxiety, dealing with depression as an entrepreneur for a good 6 8 months, uh, going through a fear of you know I mean, there are survival issues every single time, right? Like, you don't know whether you'll be able to get enough business this month to be able to pay your rent and salaries. Because there was no money ever put it. I started the business with 1 lakh rupees. Until day, that is the only investment. Like whatever, it's been 7 years, but whatever we've grown and done, it was whatever we generated from that 1 lakh rupees as initial amount. We've taken it out of the business, reinvested it, taken out of the business. So for for years, I wasn't able to draw a salary. Uh, so of course, it's been extremely, extremely tough. This wasn't my field. I was not a tech professional, nor was I a designer. So I had no idea about the leather industry. So everything had to be learned on the job. I had no idea how to deal with craftsmen, and of course, there is unprofessionalism when it comes to timings and work ethic and stuff like that. It's the informal sector. Now things have become easier with payment gateways, and you have VFast and all your delivery systems. But back in 2014, 15, when I started, there weren't shipping aggregators, there was no VFast, there was no GPay. So everything was a lot more manual. It needed a lot more time effort. I wasn't able to hire the right people because of lack of funds. So severe burnout issues. It's been extremely, extremely tough. And of course, the last 2 years have been difficult because of COVID. So like we did very well, I would say in 2018, 19, but then 2020 COVID hit. And we are an industry where we sell bags and we are a lot into corporate gifting. So that was the least priority, company, people stopped going to offices, they stopped buying bags. Um, everyone was working from home. So, and corporate gifting stopped because all your trade fairs and all your exhibitions stopped. So it's been tough, I would say. Like this year again has been tough work-wise. But yeah, we've seen so much in the last 7 years. It's just about a matter of time. We'll sail through it. Yeah. So
That's
like I
amazing.
said, the struggle is never over as an entrepreneur.
Correct.
Like, it's
Yeah.
constantly there.
Correct,
So,
ma'am.
like you said, you have struggled for 7 whole years. So, what keeps you motivated for this? How do you get going?
It's the mission. It's what I set out to do earlier. What was the reason I got into this because I wanted to create a better lifestyle for the locals in Dharavi. Wanted to make sure that they get a chance to live their life to the fullest of their potential. Because equality as a theme is extremely important to me. Um, so Dharavi is extremely, extremely talented. Um, they just need a little bit of support and guidance, which should come from either the government or the private sector, because it's largely the Dalit community, the uneducated community, who's never had any support whatsoever. They've just survived on their own. They've built a community on their own. They've built a market for themselves on their own. But unfortunately, in spite of being so talented, it's still kind of a hand to mouth existence. So that's not so. The purpose is to make sure that they get a fair chance to grow. Uh, then being an urban planner, I feel that whenever redevelopment takes place, because if you've proven yourself financially and you've proven your worth, you will have a little bit of fair chance in negotiating when it comes to your redevelopment rights. Right now, like they would just consider the encroachers like a liability. But the moment you take them online and you tell the world that this is what they're capable of, these are the export numbers. This is what this is how they can contribute to India's economy. You do consider the fact that okay, uh, whenever we redevelop, let's give them a fair share, fair chance to make sure that their income sources are not totally, not respected or not taken care of, and give them enough space for work as well. And make sure that their livelihoods are not snatched whenever the redevelopment happens. So this kind of the website kind of makes it obvious to the world outside that this is an economic hub. It's not just a colony where migrants have encroached.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Also, the COVID lockdown, did it have like a positive or a negative impact on your business? I know you talked about the your bags and the leather bags and people not going to the office, but was it some way that you saw a spike in your sales because of COVID, since online sales were happening a lot at that time?
No. So unfortunately, during the first lockdown, so our business had grown a lot in 2018-19 via B2B. We made a lot of stuff for other brands and in bulk. So we didn't focus a lot on our website those 2 years, and the website had kind of become sort of redundant. So when the lockdown happened suddenly, our website wasn't updated enough. We didn't have enough products. And like I said, at those times, there was no Shopify or anything where you could just update your website easily. Those were like actually made websites, PHP websites made from scratch back in 2015, 16, right? So those were not easy to update or upgrade, and they used to cost a lot of money as well. So the first lockdown, we didn't do, I mean, the sales had gone down to zero, of course. But what we did immediately was the day the lockdown was announced, we focused a lot on food distribution. We've managed to give food to around 2,000 craftsmen in Dharavi during both lockdowns and for the entire month. And that we did through our network of karigars and well-wishers, and we did a fundraising campaign. So we made sure that whoever we work with on a regular basis was taken care of. So the entire first lockdown in April, like the entire month, my focus was on the food donation drive. That is what kept me busy. Um, and no, so during the second lockdown, we had a website. I was working on the website during the second lockdown. April 2021, May 21, I was working on the website, and we got the website live by June. And so yes, so then I mean D2C again. So like I said, we were focusing more on B2B.
Yeah.
And then after June 2021, we had to learn everything about the new direct to consumer business. It was again new about Facebook marketing, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, and all of that. So last 6, 8 months, I would say that's been a learning process. It's again been a very big roller coaster ride. Understanding this market, it looks easy from the outside, but it's something which requires a lot of liquid capital, because on a daily basis you end up paying money to Facebook and Instagram and Google ads, and uh, so it requires a lot of capital to grow. And then there are other issues like your delivery issues at times, and then there are issues of returns and non-deliveries, and so at times quality issues. So these are things which we were trying to iron out. We've
Correct.
we've learned a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and now we are seeing how to take this forward. This month we sort of taken a break from spending a lot on advertising and trying to figure out again. So like Jan was again very, very bad, right?
Yeah.
Like I fell sick myself, and my entire family had COVID. So again, we had to slow down a lot in Jan. So this month we're just trying to figure out how to go ahead again.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. So that has been great to hear. But we'd also like to have a little sneak peek on the future plans for Dharavi Market. What are the plans ahead?
So the future plan is to go international. Leather is more of an international product, and leather is slightly being on the higher side price wise. We'll have
Yeah.
a much larger buy audience internationally compared to India. So the idea is to do D2C internationally. I mean, we already have a registered brand, 90 feet. Create more inventory, more products under that brand, and take it global. So it becomes like an affordable, purpose-driven brand, and which we sell directly in US and Europe. We are trying to looking for raising funds. We are in talks with several people for seed round, because like till date
Oh,
it's still a bootstrap company. It's still that same 1 lakh rupee which I had invested earlier. It's still doing from whatever we earn from that. It's still that
Correct.
way. So if I want to go international, go big, we of course need to raise funds. So that's what we're focusing on right now. A lot of my time and energy goes in talking to investors and uh, explaining them the future plans. We also want to sell across airports as because Dharavi is a brand in itself. Uh, so have be at souvenir shops across airports in the country. That is of course when the airports open up and the tourism starts again. And of course, the whole idea is to create more and more jobs in Dharavi. So we are going to focus a lot on trade fairs as well. Trade fairs, I'm hoping the trade fairs start again in this year because last 2 years no trade fairs have happened. So trade fairs used to get us a lot of B2B business. Hoping that July on August onwards, we actually have physical trade fairs where you can meet more buyers. So yeah, that's what I mean. To focus on B2B in India and B2C globally is the plan. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. That
Ma'am,
sounds great. I
ma'am, we
hope
can't
one day we
wait.
can.
We can't wait to see Dharavi Market on like the airport when we're flying to a new journey.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
We'll pray that it comes true really soon. Also,
Yeah.
ma'am,
Thank you.
what do you
Ma'am,
think?
just a minute. It's the last question, ma'am. Can you please on our camera? We would love to, have a sneak peek
Yes,
and take
ma'am.
a picture, maybe, please.
Mm. Wow. Is it on?
No, ma'am, not. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Hello,
oh,
ma'am.
hi,
Nice to
Hi,
hi,
see you.
ma'am. It's great to see you
hi.
here.
Tell me.
Yes, ma'am. So, what do you think are the most important factors which determine the success of any entrepreneurial venture?
Uh, Commitment
Okay.
to your business, to your cause, like a really long-term commitment, like a minimum 10, 15 years, sticking to what you believe in and what you want to do. Um,
Yeah.
Consistency, being very consistent at and very persistent on your idea, on your goals and mission. Uh, so that's it. And courage. I mean, you need to take risk. You need to make sure that you are quick with decision making. You are uh, okay to, I mean, you have to. Entrepreneurship is more about failures. It's about dealing with 100 failures in a day and maybe one success a week. So that is what entrepreneurship is. And that's however successful you are, that's how it's always going to be. Because if you have 10 ideas, 8 of them will fail, one will be okay, and one might succeed. So on a daily basis, you're dealing more with failure than you're dealing with success, even though from the outside world, people will know only about that one success, but they won't know about the 8 or 9 failures you've gone through before that. So it's more about, yeah, courage, consistency, and commitment is what I would say
Ma'am,
entrepreneurship is about.
ma'am, that's absolutely amazing. Really
Great
motivated all
answer.
of us.
Yes, ma'am. So that's all, ma'am. Thank you so much for being here. I'm sure one day you'll get an investor and we'll see you touch the markets globally and hitting the goal you always wanted to. We had a great time. You inspired us all, and I'm sure you'll inspire every student in KC right now once the magazine is out. And I will love you. I love to, follow the
How did you all
Instagram.
get to know about me? How did
Can
you
you
all
please?
hear about us?
Ma'am,
Yes,
we
ma'am.
checked. All of us in the committee know about you because we just went through a brochure and then we like really researched a lot about you
Yes, ma'am. We
then
have a
and
website and all.
and ma'am, you're an
No,
ex
as in
KCI. Oh, ma'am, you're lagging, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Your voice is
Ma'am,
breaking.
you're lagging.
exactly. So did anyone tell you that? Does it that I'm from KC and then you called me, or how did you go about it?
Ma'am, your voice is lagging. Can you please
Can you
repeat?
repeat again? Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm saying, did any professor inform you that I am from KC, or how did you first find out about me?
Ma'am, our entire team was coming up with a booklet for Entreview, and that's how we knew that because like these were the people that were from our college and we didn't know about, and then now we know more about you.
So basically, we did a research. The people who studied in KC are entrepreneurs right now about that successful one. So from there, we got yeah. So ma'am, thank you so much. We had a great time, and I'm sure you influenced a lot of other people in KC College, being me and Tanisha one of them, and also Aditi, of course. So that's all, ma'am. And I would love to, have you on our board with us. Can you please give a shout out to a ECEL page on Instagram, KC ECEL page? So it is named as ECEL underscore KC College over Instagram.
Okay, just send me a link. No, I'll do that.
Sure,
Definitely,
ma'am.
ma'am.
That will be
And
very
Yeah.
good.
also
Yes,
our YouTube channel, ESL KC College, is up and running. And if you could ask your followers or everyone around you to like, comment, and subscribe, it would mean the world to us. Thank you so
yes.
much for being here, ma'am.
Yeah,
Thank
most
you.
welcome. Send me
Yeah,
the link.
great.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am,
Sure.
definitely. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you,
Yeah.
ma'am. Thank
Bye,
Thanks.
you.
ma'am. Have a good day.
Bye.
Wait, now I have to stop the recording.